Hey, welcome back to another episode of Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 554 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Let's get into it. One of the first things I want to talk about is kind of like an update on the DCEU movies that were leaving HBO Max, right? They were leaving HBO Max. We were a whole bunch, even Batman v Superman and all that. But now it's come to our attention that DCEU movies are actually staying on HBO Max after all. How interesting. So this is coming from comicbook.com. It says Justice League, Wonder Woman, other DCEU movies staying on HBO Max after all. Because earlier this month, it was widely reported the vast majority of live action movies featuring characters from the halls of the DC Comics library would leave HBO Max at some point throughout the month of July. As it turns out, HBO Max has had a sudden change of heart. Instead, the service will be keeping the vast majority of the movies on the service through the end of the year. Confirmed to remain on the platform is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Justice League, Wonder Woman, and Zack Snyder's Watchmen. It seems like they like that Zack Snyder material on HBO Max. It seems like people want to watch Zack Snyder stuff on HBO Max. So yeah, why won't they keep them on there? What's interesting is what they're not keeping on there, and that is movies that aren't part of the new deal include Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Catwoman, Jonah Hex, and The Losers. Those will be circled out, rotated out. So that's quite interesting that they're keeping the DCEU on there, right? Might as well hype it up. Might as well hype it up. Why not? So we're talking about HBO Max, DC movies on HBO Max, right? That's the one that a lot of my viewers right now are wanting to know more about, right? And what's the biggest thing coming out on HBO Max? Well, that's Zack Snyder's Justice League. And we now have an actual, I guess you can kind of say, a release schedule, like a certain dates, that a certain time in 2021 that there will be release. This was on Fandom Today. HBO Max will release the Zack Snyder's Justice League early to mid 2021. That's right. It's happening, guys. It's happening. And this is all coming from The Variety. HBO Max Sandra Dewey talks racism, inclusion, and uncanny's keynote. She's the president of productions and business operations for Warner Media Entertainment. That includes HBO Max. And when you go scroll through all this, it's like hiding in the second to last paragraph. The eagerly awaited Zack Snyder Cut of Justice League will bow in early to mid 2021, Dewey said, without committing to a date. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I am really excited. It's kind of funny because, we're throwing around dates, and early to mid 2021, that's around when the Justice League was actually announced, around May 20th. And the first indication of that certain date was actually like the granddaughter of the writer, the person who created Justice League, right? Remember that? I had a video back then. I might even link it up on the top here. But yeah. She actually said like May 20th because that was like the anniversary of the Justice League comic, right? And then La Jaguarera in Gotham, they also put out that is also May 20th, May 20th or 21st or something like that, so something around there. And so early to mid 2021 would be around that date, which I am very excited. I am actually, I'm excited that it's early to mid, not mid to late or late 2021. And that's just me being, very impatient. But we've been patient this long. It's just a little bit while longer. But early to mid 2021 sounds really exciting. I'm really excited for that. And I'm hoping it's more early than to mid, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are waiting for that too. That's great. They're not committing to a date, but hearing her say that gives us great confidence indeed for that indeed. What a way to kind of like, kind of start off hyping for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then towards the early to mid, we finally get like the first chapter or something, right? So that's really, really exciting. So the next thing was a rumor. It was a big rumor, and I talked about this, that Ryan Reynolds could be Green Lantern in Justice League, right? Grace Randolph hinted at that. Garza is going full blown on that, but today, what's interesting is that Grace Randolph put this out today. A big tweet. Now that I've heard it from a second source, it seems word is indeed getting out, and so I can confirm the Snyder Cut cameo I've been teasing is indeed Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern. It's real. I'm hearing Warner Brothers is working on putting the deal together now to make it official. And she goes into when Ryan Reynolds did the whole Brazil thing, which came, we kind of talked about this when I had chatted with Tim Yoko and Scott McClellan with DC Film Squadcast, and how that is awesome. It's a great comeback for Ryan Reynolds. Especially seeing that Deadpool may be dead in the water. He might as well come. And apparently, according to Dave Film Junkie, who also heard the same thing, Stephen Colbert heard the same thing. So I'm kind of like, okay, this is actually happening. Ryan Reynolds, is it? And I don't think it's going to be the 2011 Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. It's going to be his own Green Lantern, right? His own. And if this is something, I mean, Garza said this is what Zack wanted and what Zack wanted, so that's great. That's awesome. As long as he's okay with that, that's cool. Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern is a huge. I would say it's a huge deal, right? I mean, Ryan Reynolds is a superstar in itself. So this could add a lot of fuel to that fire, right? That's already big. Zack Snyder's Justice League is already huge. It's that big. So I'm really, I'm so stoked about that. I think that this would be something really, really awesome. And I've even watched a Green Lantern movie once again, and I thought it was, watching it again on the extended cut. Maybe we even with the implant in my mind that says that he could be Green Lantern again, and that's probably why I picked it up to watch it again. It makes a big deal. I think it makes a pretty big deal, right? But Ryan Reynolds would be what, a Hal Jordan Green Lantern? Yeah, I would probably expect that. I mean, that's probably what would be expected for that one, right? And I got to think about what Zack Snyder told us about if there were any Green Lanterns in the movie. I think there were multiple Green Lanterns, and I think he already said that, including in Vero, right? When he put out this Vero post a long time ago, and this is kind of like a background he kind of threw in there, but he said these ships were Green Lantern Corps ships, Green Lantern Corps ships. That not one Green Lantern, but many Green Lantern. He wanted to be, because they were like, the anti-life got to them or something like that. He's under control, essentially, from Darkseid. And so he's going to want to include Green Lantern Corps. And I remember like a long time ago when we're still stewing over rumors and things like that there were supposed to be two lanterns that show up. And for a long period of time, maybe that was Tomar and Kilowog, and maybe it was at one point. But what if it was Hal Jordan and John Stewart? What if they both were supposed to cameo in Justice League, right? And where is this coming from? Well, I mean, it's not that hard to look at. I mean, go back. We're talking about going back in time. We're talking about going back in time. Why not the Green Lantern Corps in Justice League, right? Why not? Essentially, at least two of them in any way, right? Back in 2017, Warner Brothers were setting David Goyer and Justin Rhodes for a Green Lantern Corps movie. Essentially, and this is back in 2017, by the way, it would have had Hal Jordan and John Stewart. The latter is an African-American Marine sniper before he joined the Lantern Corps, and the story very much focuses on his relationship with Jordan and the Corps. The story was conceived by Goyer and Johns. And what this new version was supposed to be described as a lethal weapon in space. A lethal weapon in space. They could still somehow work this in, right? Zack Snyder's Justice League is different from the 214. He's getting to expand on it, and maybe concepts and things he's learned or wanted to do from then till now, he could actually implement them into his Zack Snyder's Justice League. And what better way is not just to get one Green Lantern, maybe get two Green Lanterns, or have Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern mentor a younger John Stewart, right? And the younger John Stewarts will have to learn to be a hero, right? Because we have that mentoring thing. We have Batman. Ben Affleck's Batman is an older Batman. He's been through this whole thing, and he needs to he's mentoring all these other characters. He's like mentoring possibly in the Flash. He's even kind of being he's helping with Superman and stuff like that, but he is kind of like the seasoned warrior, right? Including Wonder Woman, who's also a seasoned warrior. Well, Ryan Reynolds, you could essentially look at him as like a seasoned Hal Jordan, right? And then we could have a younger John Stewart coming under his arm, and he's teaching him the ropes, or even finding a new bearer for the ring, right? Towards this whole Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, that could be an episode in itself, right? And a chapter in itself, the Green Lantern chapter, right? And so he gives him the ring, and then essentially John Stewart will be actually the main Green Lantern for this Justice League, and Hal Jordan is kind of like his mentor, right? So I think that would be pretty damn insane to seeing how they could move forward on, and maybe even set up some type of Green Lantern thing along the way. And who would be like John Stewart? If we had Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan, who would be John Stewart? I know Tyrese Gibson's been trying to be John Stewart for the longest time. They're talking about, they have fan art of Idris Elba, but Idris Elba's older, right? We need someone a little bit younger, right? Well, Andrew Dice put out something, just a nice picture. I don't know what he means by this at all, but he has Omari Hardwick with a Green Lantern ring, right? And Omari is actually from Army of the Dead. He's in Army of the Dead. So, I mean, that would be perfect if they could pull him out to be Green Lantern. And I've purposely looked at this because I remember this fan art going around. And I threw it up there because this, yes, it's probably not going to be a CG suit, if anything. I'm pretty sure Michael Wilkinson has great plans for some spectacular costume designs and stuff like that. But throw that on Omari, and damn, he looks like a nice young John Stewart. I see Stephen even put that in there. Scott McKinney. Oh, yeah. I mean, for a lot of people who've been watching the Justice League animated, John Stewart is the Green Lantern, right? To a lot of younger people who are not too familiar with Hal Jordan, like their first inception of a Justice League with Green Lantern would be John Stewart. But in any case, that'd be pretty awesome. And I don't know, Andrew Dice, have you been like also batting 100 too? Because you just kind of had Ryan Reynolds back in May 22nd, which I retweeted, and this is like your second post. What are you trying to say? What do you know? But I don't know. I think it's fantastic that Ryan Reynolds, if everything works out, could possibly be back, but I think it would be even cooler to have like John Stewart enter the fray as well. If this is going to be like a long running, especially if it's going to be like a series, a long running. Imagine a long running Zack Snyder's Justice League with season 1, 2, and 3. You're going to need more heroes. You're going to need more heroes. I'm just saying. It's like it expands beyond the 7. expands beyond the 7. So this is fantastic. More stories to tell, more Justice League members, and all in Zack Snyder's sandbox, right? So I love this. I love these ideas. I don't know if it's true. I don't even know if we're going to even have a Green Lantern in there. If everything doesn't work out with Ryan Reynolds, I don't know. There's still Sam Benjamin. If he's, I don't know if he's even part of that or not. A lot of people say no. Some people say yes. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. In early to mid 2021, when Zack Snyder's Justice League will be released. So very much looking forward to that. So there's another thing that's also we're trying to, at least a lot of people are trying to get released, and that is the Ayer cut. There is an update on one of these events here. The charity event is that the Veterans with Dogs, right? This charity has raised, and thank you so much, Chris Valentino, putting that together. Has raised over $1,400, went over the goal of the 500, and so thank you so much for everybody who put it there, who bought the shirt. Thank you so much for Chris Valentino at Too Much Food for putting that together, and thank you also to Release the Ayer Cut for putting that out as well. So that is awesome. Thank you for nearly tripling the goal. This money will go a long way for America's vet dogs, and ultimately, just in support of Release the Ayer Cut. Now, there's a new trending event, and this is Release the Ayer Cut put this out, a new trending event. I'm going to take off this so you can actually see it. All right. Yes, I fully support this. I'm right here. Even Lightcast 2, Suicide, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, trending event week 2, global start times. Here's your global start times. I will link this in the description below for you to look at. Coming down a little further, this is the trending event week 2, following the incredible success of the November 2019 Snyder Cut trending event. We would like to show the same love and passion for artistic integrity and freedom for the director, cast, and crew of David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So June 30th, Diablo. July 1st, Killer Croc. July 2nd, Captain Boomerang. July 3rd, Rick Flag. July 4th, Joker. So this is really cool. I like that. I like the new picks right here. Joker is going to be a big one for sure. I think Joker is going to be a really, really big one. And who knows? Jay Hernandez has actually come out in support of the Suicide Squad per se. He's been kind of responding a little bit. He may come out, and David Ayer actually may shoot something out. You never know. Shoot something out from his hip in regards to Diablo. Maybe even the scene where Diablo wasn't supposed to die on in the movie. So June 30th, this is your first one. Here's your start times. Release the Ayer Cut. Hashtag Diablo, AT&T, HBO Max. So that's the next thing that will be showing up as soon as we get to that date. That's next week. Oh my God, it's almost July. Yeah. And the DC content has not stopped, has not slowed down. What an incredible moment we're living now. I am super hyped and geeking out and nerding out after everything, after every news I wake up in the morning to. This is an amazing time to be a DC fan, and I cannot wait for Justice Con, and I cannot wait for the DC fandom. Let's get it going. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. I will see you next time.